Hey there guys, what's going on? Gale Riot here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Memoria Freeze video. And today we are here with a should you summon for the Astrea Record Lost Justice banner. Now of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course comment down below, are you guys planning on summoning on this banner? And if not, why? Let me know. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say down below. Now, I also will be doing a should you summon for these banners, the rerun gacha banners for Is It Wrong to Expect a Hot Spring in the Dungeon, Relax gacha, as well as the Detox gacha, so the rerun gacha banners. And I will talk about whether you should summon for them or not, especially considering the buffs some of these units got. Now, let's talk about this banner, right? This is, of course, the second part of the whole Astrea Record campaign they're doing effectively, where we're going to be getting these new Astrea Record units, basically units that we got way back when in the 3rd anniversary. They're going to get updated versions, basically new additions, right? I say updated versions, that's not the right way to say it. It's just new units for those characters, right? Because since the 3rd anniversary, we've not really gotten another Artie, we've not gotten another Elise, nor have we gotten Kaguya or a Lyra. Now, I would like to preface this by saying it's a very high chance that when the next volume releases next month in December, we will most likely get an Althea and Zard. So be cautious that, the next time we might get these banners, there's going to be some crazy units then as well. But let's talk about these units now. Are they worth summoning for? Now, I spoke a bit about these two units when we did get the news of them dropping, the JP live stream and everything. And I was like, they both look very interesting. Both have their uses, especially Lyra on a Magic Thunder team alongside Wine. But there are some flaws with them and there are some concerns. So let's have a look-see at these two units. So let's start off with Lyra, right? Lyra is a magic attack type unit, of course, so she's going to have high magic. The one thing to note about this Lyra, though, her agility is very decent. Her agility is actually pretty solid. 1266 for a magic unit is not bad at all. And especially once you start incorporating the factors of potentially getting buffs from other units, or, her applying debuffs on enemies for agility purposes, she's going to be a good unit to run in war games. And the reason why is because she is an AoE unit at the end of the day. You're going to run her in war games. You're going to run her in PvE as well. You could run her in PvE, but I think the main focus will be PvP. Let's look at her special arts first. Strategic Raid. Foes Ultra Thunder magic attack with temporary grade magic boost and Ultra on God rate and seal and remove status buffs and self 3+ actions with mid thunder magic attack and STR magic and agility buffs on foes and STR magic and agility debuffs on allies -4 turns. So she will basically reduce the buffs amount on the opponents and reduce the debuff amounts on yourself. So let's say you have 5 turns worth of STR debuffs on you, right? Lyra's special arts will reduce that by 4 turns, making it only a 1 turn thing, right? So that helps drastically, especially when you're trying to combat enemies that are focusing on debuffing you, basically. Which, I mean, that's the whole point of war games, is buff yourself, debuff the enemy, go ham, kind of, right? So something like this definitely helps. Her first skill is Faint Advance. Foes Super Thunder magic attack with Ultra and counter rate and agility and thunder res -40% for 5 turns and self-remove status debuffs and 2 actions of mid thunder magic attack and STR magic agility buffs on foes and STR magic and agility debuffs on allies -3 turns. Really good skill, because what it's doing is basically it removes any debuffs on yourself, any status debuff specifically. It will also ensure that if you get debuffed later on, your additional actions will reduce the turn counts for those debuffs, and then you're also reducing agility and thunder res. Now, when I spoke about this unit, I made a very good point about her running alongside Wine. You could run a fantastic thunder magic team, and I asked a fellow competitive player, Cards, he's part of Valiris, and he had this to say, basically, that Lyra sounds pretty decent for PvE. The 60-60 with super plus mid additional attacks and, optimal elemental debuffs makes her very solid. And then you pair her with Wine, makes it seem great. And of course, she can also fit a match turn 2 rush team with the agility debuff and the fast buff skill. And it can also fit into sort of like a magic based stall team with the defensive buffs. We'll have to wait and see on if she will be used in those teams, though, because again, the amount of magic teams we've gotten recently, or magic units I should specify, like let's look at the past like 3 or 4 celebrations, right? We have Valletta, who's a magic unit. We have Elise, magic unit. We had the Cyber Op celebration, which was magic units all together. All of them were magic units, right? Then we had the Reveria as part of the Alice in the Wonderland quest, right? So magic units have been predominant. I mean, obviously we had the anniversary, which was entirely physical focus, so it kind of makes sense why they're giving so much love to magic units recently. But that's something to bear in mind, is you might want to be cautious about summoning for Lyra, because we just have too many magic units now. If you're running a magic team and you need that last setup unit basically that you didn't manage to pull previously, she's a great option. She's a fantastic option, and she'll work tremendously, because again, once we get onto her second ability, which is allies fast 30% HP heal, god rate plus 30%, and damage received attack type all and single targets minus 30% for 1 turn. And then she gives herself magic, agility, thunder attack damage, P-res, and M-res 60% for 4 turns. You're protecting the team really well for that specific turn, because what you're gonna do here, in my personal opinion, the way I perceive it, is you're gonna do I need to put myself on do not disturb. Always this is part of the Gale Riot experience, bro. You will never see a non do not disturb video, to be quite honest. But you're probably, what you're gonna do is you're gonna use skill 1, and then you're gonna want to use skill 2 in sort of war game scenarios. At least that's my belief, because you want to just ensure that you're getting all these buffs and you're protecting the team, especially on turn 2 when everybody's gonna go ham, especially physical rush teams, right? Once they remove all the nullifications that you may have on your team. So that's something to bear in mind. Her third skill is Deceptive Slash, Foe, Slow, Super Thunder Magic Attack with Temporary Grade Magic Boost and Ultra on God Rate and Sleep. Not bad, but nothing too crazy there either. So her third skill doesn't make it seem like you're going to be able to run her in sort of like, for example, Record Buster and stuff, right? So bear that in mind. That's also something to take note of, because sometimes some of these units, I've said this previously, AoE units are becoming really good options for Record Buster and stuff. So having something like this is not really that great, because a lot of these amazing AoE units that are single target units rely on scaling off a certain ability, right? So say 50% per strength and magic buff or something like that, right? So that's something to bear in mind. Now let's look at Kaguya. Kaguya's strength is pretty decent. 2179 is not bad. Her agility is a little bit on the lower side in my personal opinion, but it's not too shabby either. It's not the worst thing on the planet. It's all right. And especially once you start factoring agility reduction skills, agility buffing skills, debuffs and stuff like that, she will still be very solid. Her special arts is Severing Draw. Foes ultra dark physical attack damage plus 60% per each self STR magic and agility reduction skill, and ultra penetration rate and P-res minus 60% for 3 turns. Now, this is the issue I have with this Kaguya, and it's a similar thing to a lot of these other units that I've had a problem with, is her skills are reliant on the fact that she needs to get debuffed, and you don't remove any of those debuffs on your team so that she can do maximum amounts of damage in that special arts. And it's again another reason why I don't think this unit either is great for an event like, say, Record Buster or Familiar Rush, because it's very rare that we get debuffs. Like, if I'm not mistaken, next week's Familiar Rush, right? I don't think you'll use this Kaguya anyways because of the, weaknesses and resistances that the opponents have. But if I'm not mistaken, the opponent doesn't do anything of the sort of like reducing STR or magic and stuff like that. They just remove status debuffs, or they remove debuffs and they remove buffs on you. That's about it, right? So there's realistically no point in you running this, because it's not going to deal that much damage, right? As a result of the fact that the additional damage you're getting is based on how many STR, magic, and agility reduction skills you have on yourself, which will amount to 180% or a little bit more depending on the opponent's assist skills and stuff like that. So that's something to bear in mind. Now, the problem isn't actually in her special arts. The problem comes in her skills, because Premonition Sword, her first skill, is slow P-res minus 35% to foes and self-agility 70% for 5 turns, and one action of mid-dark physical attack damage plus 35% per each target's strength, a magic, and agility buff, and ultra penetration rate, and removes strength, magic, and agility buffs on foes. This is the start of Kaguya's problems. I still don't know why they've given her only one action. And if you look at her second skill, Thundering Blade, fast STR and dexterity plus 60% and increase SAG charge gain and dark attack damage 100% for 1 turn and remove status debuffs. It's another 1 turn buff. Why are they doing this? I don't understand the point of giving Kaguya something like this. And even if we go, okay, let's go over to the next one. Heavy strikes. Fast, super dark physical attack damage plus 20% per each target strength, magic, and agility buff, and ultra and counter rate, and self dexterity and dark attack damage plus strength 2 turns. What? Why is it so limited? Why is it so limited? We're in a meta. Like, look at this unit on the left hand side, Lyra. She will reduce the opponent's STR magic and agility buffs on foes by 3 turns when Kaguya only gets 2 turns. What's the point? What is the point of the buffs if they're only lasting 2 turns? And even the same players that I was talking about earlier on, and a lot of other players that I was just talking to, they are really, really annoyed with this factor. And the fact that, it's just a 2-turn buff or even 1 additional action. It's not good enough. And then one thing that they mentioned is that, of course, because of the fact that Kaguya has the 70% STR agility buff, she's one of the fastest units. 100%. That's why I said her agility may seem a little bit on the lower side, but her skills make up for it, because that 70% agility will make her probably one of the fastest units in the game, if not the fastest unit in the game. And the fact that she also has the fast buff priority, it makes it very, very strong as a result of that. But the problem is, if you don't attack on turn 2, and if the skill lands on enemies and nulls are up, she's going to be in trouble. She's going to be in tremendous trouble because of her kit and her skills. It's just not going to work really well at all. So I feel like she's going to be in a very tricky situation. And then if you go on to PvE, because of the fact that her buffs last only 1 turn or only 1 additional action, you're going to have to run it very, very carefully in order to make sure those buffs are extended at the right amount of at the right time. And if it isn't, it's a problem. And then on top of that, the opponent can potentially remove your buffs. They can remove their debuffs and stuff like that. She's going to be very, very, very unusable unless, you want to use her in something like, say, 7th zone or something, right? And, battles may last only 3 or 4 turns, potentially, right? So many times we've had that where battles can last only 3 or 4 turns in 7th zone. So, in all honesty, this Kaguya is in a very big pickle. I don't think she's going to be that great personally, and based on other people's thoughts, she's not going to be that great. Now, of course, things may change. I want to factor that in, is that these units have only had, what, an hour and a half? Not an hour and a half. They've only been out for nearly 4.5 hours to 5 hours. There's still a lot of time. It's the same reason why I never actually ended up making an Elise and I never ended up making the Elise and Artie should you summon, and I think the banners are gone, right? If I'm not mistaken, let me see. I think the banners have gone, long gone. So, I've not had the opportunity to talk about them, but they're seemingly pretty decent now. I mean, Elise was always touted to be decent. It was just dependent on how the AI would run her, right? And same with Artie. But these guys, I don't know if I can recommend people summon on these guys, just because, well, we don't know how strong they will actually be. And of course, by the time we get the next banner next month, things may change drastically. So bear that in mind. We might get new units. We should be getting a new live stream in about 2 weeks time. A lot of stuff is to yet come. So in all honesty, I would probably say skip this banner for now and wait until you see people using them in war games, because that's where they're going to be predominantly used. I expect Lyra to be used alongside Wine, but outside of that, yeah. And the other factor is a lot of players will not be able to max these units out because, well, one, it's a 10-step banner, first and foremost, and you're very likely, unless you're extremely lucky from on both factors where you can get both to +5 in one 10-step rotation, which was fantastic, the very high chance is that you might end up with like 1 unit +5 and 1 unit +0. And if you are a magic user, you might want Lyra, right? What if you end up getting +5 of Kaguya and then just nothing of Lyra? It's not the greatest situation to be in, right? So that's something to bear in mind. Another factor is that these units haven't come, or these 2 characters have not come back since last year, right before the 4th anniversary. Of course, we're getting the their older iterations in January with potential buffs. So if you haven't got these characters, just do 1 multi and try and get the CP rewards worth, basically. Just try and get that character so that you can get it in CP level. So to me personally, for a TLDR, summon if you are planning on, if you don't have any of these two characters, to try and get their CP, maybe summon if you need Lyra, and don't summon if you don't need either of these units. Please just don't. It's not worth it until at least you see other people using them and you see how strong they can actually be. Because again, Kaguya is a very hit or miss unit. If she misses, she will die. If she hits, she's actually really ridiculously strong for war games. But it's a very big if you can get that hit off, right? So something to bear in mind. All right, now let's just do one multi. I always like doing one multi during a video recording to just show you guys exactly what I get from my one multi. And you never know, if I'm really lucky, I could do that as well. Let's go, baby. But that's an old unit, if I'm not mistaken. That's another thing that could happen. But this is actually good for me because she's +5 now. I had her at +4 for so long. That's actually a really good off-banner pull. But again, if you do get a 4-star on this banner, I completely forgot about that. If you do get a 4-star on this banner, you will probably end up getting something old potentially, right? So that's something to bear in mind as well, as that's not good. Oh my god, is this actually gonna be a crazy multi? I can't believe this. Okay, we got Lyra as well. Wait, what is this multi? I've not gotten a 2-star yet. Okay, never mind. I was about to say, I've not gotten a 2-star yet. How is this happening? Oh, that is crazy. Okay, so we got Lyra as well, which is great. Let's see all the way through. Hey, we got +1 Lyra. There you go. I mean, you could get something like this. If you're trying to get Lyra, you could get something like this. What a multi, though. That is an insane multi, though. That is an insane multi. What a multi and a half. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel. Comment any questions you guys may have. I'll try and answer them. Maybe somebody else, maybe a veteran player can try and answer it as well. It would be greatly appreciated, of course. Any responses you guys give boost the algorithm as well. I almost said my mic. But thank you guys once again so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Take it easy and have yourselves a good day or good night, depending on where you're at. Peace out, everybody. Bye-bye.